We've all lived through our college age years. Some of us, like me, are in the midst of those years as we speak. But what is so great about college? Well, most people would say that these are the years where you have the most freedom of your life. And that freedom has evolved over the years. Maybe it used to look like going out and dancing until 2 a.m. But in this present age, it looks like getting so drunk that you don't even remember your night. The increase in the use of fake IDs is a direct reflection of this growing college party culture that revolves around binge drinking. And most students who purchase and use a fake ID are acutely unaware of the severity of the consequences that they may potentially face. The use of fake IDs can be slowed and potentially halted by hiring law-abiding bouncers and thoroughly educating college students about the serious repercussions of fake identification use. As a college student myself, this topic is very close to home to me. I've been in this party scene, and thankfully I've escaped from it. But many of my friends have not, and I'm a direct witness to their life today. Most students are very unaware of the hefty repercussions of fake ID use, and this could include identity theft or being a threat to national security. Those are just to name a few. These consequences go far beyond making a stupid decision in the midst of your drunkenness. So, what is the problem? The college party scene has normalized the use of fake IDs. The increase in the use of fake IDs is a direct reflection of the growing college party culture. In Karen Fisher Hoover's article, which I'm going to mention a few more times here as we go on, it's called A River of Booze. She says, average blood alcohol levels in students stopped by the police have risen steadily. One kid this year blew a .33, more than 4 times the legal limit. And with heavier drinking, the police are now beginning to make drunk driving arrests mid-morning, pulling over students on their way to class, still intoxicated from the night before. As a culture, we've supersized and we've taken it into our drinking, she says. So I argue that overall college drinking has been taken to a whole new level. Most college-age students drink purely with the intention of getting drunk, and they'll sometimes go into their night wanting to get blacked out, being so drunk that they lose their memory. Our society has influenced people to crave this drunkenness, which will ultimately lead them to make choices, and one of those choices would be to purchase a fake ID. They'll do it regardless of the consequences, just so that they don't miss out. And because of this, the increased desire and that craving to drink has led to increased ownership and use of fake IDs and has made it be a norm in our society. Again, she states in her article, at Georgia, a fake ID is pretty much a necessity for anyone who's under 21. For most incoming students, having a fake ID is a standard part of their introduction to college, such as getting their roommate assignment and a class schedule. So Karen's statement pretty much sums up how prevalent this issue is in our world today. She goes as far as to compare getting a fake ID as to getting your class schedule, showing that going out to bars and drinking has become just as important as going to class, and a fake ID is the means to do that. Students tend to think that lying about their age is a very innocent thing because everyone does it in college. And most students really do feel that owning a fake ID is not a big deal, and they don't think twice before purchasing one because it's just what people do in college, and they think that it's necessary. But the consequences of owning a fake ID are severe. According, again, to Karen's article, A River of Booze, she says, college students drink, always have. And I would argue, personally, that they always will. This isn't going to change. But the use of fake IDs has become a norm in college culture, despite the fact that the consequences are actually becoming more severe. So these consequences will vary from state to state. For example, where I'm from, Texas state law says that if a person is in possession of a fake ID with the intent of misrepresenting their age, this could be a Class A or C misdemeanor with potentially up to a $2,000 fine and possible jail time. Is it really worth it? And according to Deepa Lashkman's article, she says, we asked the cops what really happens when you're busted for a fake ID. She says in some states, like Florida or Illinois, you can be charged with a full-on felony for showing a fake. So my point with this is that more and more states are moving towards making the possession of a fake ID a felony rather than a misdemeanor, which is much more severe. In some states, you can get your license revoked for a year or more or be responsible for completing some community service. So regardless of the state that you live in, a college student is guaranteed to end up with something on their record if they're caught with a fake ID. So how do we solve a problem that seems to have just been pervasive in our culture? My first solution is this. We need to have bar owners hiring bouncers that are reliable and willing to abide by the law. Many college students have this use of fake IDs down to a science. They know those easy and those safe locations to use fake IDs. Those would be bars or places that don't spot or confiscate fake IDs, and that's spread around by word of mouth. But most students are really not aware of what goes on in the background, and they're naive that thinking that bartenders and bouncers don't really know what college students are up to. And so Emily Nedfeld states in her article, Campus Area Bars Strategize Ways to Diminish the Use of Fake IDs. She's talking about the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and she says, Madison Police Department will routinely meet with bars in the area that are willing to sit down with them. They'll discuss distinguishing real IDs from fake IDs, as well as many other safety measures for their bars. Members of the police department will discuss how to spot a fake ID and what are some of the current trends that the police department is experiencing. And then bar owners have to trust the bouncers to do their job, even though those very same bouncers may have been in the shoes of those underage drinkers just a few short years ago. So because of this, I argue bar owners must be responsible enough to hire bouncers that are going to abide by the law and do their duty to control the use of fake IDs. If bars are willing to cooperate with the law and the bars can work together to slow the use of fake IDs in college towns. And the second thing we need to do is educate students on the consequences. The consequences of getting caught with a fake ID can follow a student for a very long time. Having a misdemeanor or any sort of criminal record has the power to affect future job opportunities, and it's incredibly important that college students think twice before they purchase a fake ID. Because these choices, although they're just made in the college years, they will come back to haunt them. Whatever the consequence is, whether it's a misdemeanor, a felony, an arrest, getting your driver's license revoked, it will end up on your record. No one ever thinks that they're going to be the one to get caught, but owning a fake ID is taking a huge risk, and getting caught could happen to anyone. It's so much more common than someone would think. So honestly, it's better to just not do it altogether. In conclusion, the ownership and use of fake IDs is very serious. It is a big deal. And it's not something that we should take lightly just because everyone has one. So they think. Fake IDs are a scary issue in many different contexts, and college students need to be aware of this because they're the primary users in the United States. In my 3 years of college, I've never been formally educated on fake ID use. It's a topic that's kind of hush-hush. It's not discussed openly, but I urge us to talk about this issue. College students need to be more educated on the use of fake IDs because if anyone is like me, they wouldn't have known the extreme dangers unless they sought out to educate themselves. Not to mention the personal repercussions that can affect someone's life. The more that colleges, local bars, and the police can work together to strategize, the more unified they will be. And unification always leads to results. Therefore, as a society, we have to be unified in recognizing that this is an issue and we need to be committed to taking action. The party culture has spurred on the use and distribution of fake IDs on college campuses, and unfortunately, most students have absolutely no idea what kinds of consequences they could face. The use of fake IDs can begin to be halted if bar owners choose to hire trustworthy bouncers and if we as a society can be responsible and educate college students about the intense consequences of fake ID use. I don't know how many college students would agree with me on this, but I think that fun and freedom looks like not being bound by the law and not having to worry about getting caught. When I realized the position I was putting myself in, I checked that fake ID, and I'm now living the free life in college. Thank you.